And he goes on to say, I've been an advocate for many years of the value for small countries to have foreign owners for their banks. Did you just hear me? This is treason. And it's the same thing here. This is a global government, a private corporate global government, taking over every major society with the same formula. It is fraudulent, and it must be resisted, or we have no future. We cannot allow this new dark age to begin. These central banks openly wage war against the real economy. They openly are the biggest funders, Goldman Sachs and others, of the fake environmental movement to shut off our energy. They are waging war against the real economy. They want an austerity, a neo-feudalistic serfdom to control you and your family. So you're so poor, you can't resist them. This is their answer to the Renaissance. This is their answer to human liberty, is this modern form of mercantilism that's meant to consolidate power. Austerity is here, and it's going to get worse and worse. There's no way out but identifying these people, taking our country back, and bringing them to justice. Brazil and a few other countries have successfully thrown them out. We can do it here, and the United States can then become the light of liberty worldwide again. Or, as I said, we're all screwed. You have been warned, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's up to you to take action. The ball is in your court. This is one of the most important videos we've ever produced. Please get it out to everybody you know.
What a great American, huh? What a true, just gets that truth out there, Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead with the truth. So here we go. Here's a picture for you. I'm going to flash up some pictures so you understand. This is JP Morgan's silver squeeze. Yeah. So it's not just me, but you're seeing it, in the papers. What else are you seeing? JP Morgan admits to massive silver short position. So that brings me to a point of, let's discuss silver. A real quick one for you. Throughout the 5,000 years of a lot of the written recorded history of the earth, we've known that when you dig the crust of the earth, you find silver and gold at a ratio of about 20 to 1. That means for every 1 ounce of gold you dig up, you get about 20 ounces of silver. So many, pounds of copper. Should I get into lead and all the other things you find? Iron, come on, we got a molten iron core, supposedly. But once again, throughout recorded history, 20 to 1 has been about the ratio of silver to gold. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, next one. Price of gold today, $1,400 an ounce. This is on Crimex, that's the New York Mercantile Exchange. And price of silver, about $30 an ounce as of today. So now I've dated the show for you. I'll ask you, if I take 30 and I multiply it by 20, how's your math? Let's see, gold is 1,400, the ratio is 20 to 1. If I took silver at 30 and multiplied by 20, ratio 20 to 1, do I end up with 1,400? Do you smell something funny here in Denmark? Do you know anything about the manipulation of markets? So let's talk about JP Morgan. This whole idea of a silver squeeze. Are you viewers familiar with the thought of naked short selling? I call it counterfeiting. I think it should be illegal, but it's allowed. Rather interesting. We'll get into some other aspects that are allowed for these globalist banksters who rip people off constantly. But let's take my cup. This is a blue cup. Yes, I know you appreciate it. This is a blue cup. And I can sell you, the viewer, an option to buy that blue cup. I can sell it to you in January. I can sell you an option in March, maybe one in July, and maybe one in October. And you can maybe choose to exercise that option or not. But the bottom line is, if you buy an option for July, I have to present you, once you give me the money we agreed upon, a blue cup. Or many blue cups. Right now, the Crimex, that's the New York Mercantile Exchange, okay, manipulated market like most, they only have control of about 120 million ounces of silver. Yet JP Morgan, I believe, through their holdings, hold 40% of the silver short positions. And when I say short, not only can I sell you this cup and sell you the opportunity to buy this cup, but I can naked short sell you this cup. Yeah, how's that work, you say? Well, to naked short something, I don't have to own the cup. I don't even have to have a cup. I don't need a cup factory. I don't need a cup mine. I can sell cups that don't exist. And in this case, 600 million ounces of cups that don't exist. Multiple years production of cup creation I can sell, yet I own no cups. That's why I say it's like counterfeiting. How can I sell something that doesn't exist? How can I sell it multiple years into the future of production? What if that was all the silver in the world? But why this is important? And here, we'll throw some other stuff up for you. At the same time that this is going on, Okay, there's lawsuits going against JP Morgan because they've been caught manipulating markets. You probably remember, go back in time a little bit, when gasoline here in Massachusetts was selling for $4 per gallon. They didn't tell you when that was happening that JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were making $1 per gallon of that price, did they? Maybe you should hear some homework. Why don't you look up high-frequency trading, and then also naked short selling, things to learn, let alone front loading. That's a whole other story, but naked short selling, okay? High frequency trading. What if I could put my computer server right next to the NYSE computer server, or the CTFC, that's the Commodities Trading Futures, whatever. We'll go through the whole thing, let alone Crimex, But we'll get into, how these banks rip you off constantly because they are banksters. Always have been, always will be. I mean, let's see. When Christ was in the temple, he changed over the what table? Was that the money changers table? My gosh, okay. Boy, did they call them the robber barons in the past? Have revolutions and stuff always been fought because the aristocracy said, let them eat cake? Yeah, we're squeezing the people with a controlled economic collapse so that we can consolidate power. Wow, is this the first time in history? How did they take Germany down? How did they take Argentina down? How did they take Mexico down? Should I go through the list? What about the Korean won? Do you keep track of currencies at all? At this time, we're going through a period of great dollar devaluation. The dollar is losing its muscle, its purchasing power. Why that's important, okay? What's been the yardstick for the dollar? What has been real money for 5,000 years? So, once again, you understood the gold-silver ratio. That's good. You understood what naked short selling is. That's selling something you don't have possession of. The important thing is if you do want to buy that cup and I don't have it, I have to, go out on the market and buy you this cup. And I have to pay whatever price the market bears. Yeah, that's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? This may be a way to take down these globalist banksters, who, by the way, may be the private holding people who hold your, Federal Reserve? Yeah, private. A private banking cartel. Is that any different than a private oil cartel? Did I mention OPEC? So, it's okay for, once again, you to have a private banking cartel, for them to make interest on money they create from nothing. How big of a sucker can you be? Maybe you want to follow the money. So here you go. Here's a little video for you. This is the modern-day Hunt brothers.
In 1973, the wealthy Hunt family of Texas decided to buy precious metals as a hedge against inflation. The Hunts recognized the dangers of Nixon's decision, at Rothschild agent Henry Kissinger's urging, to close the gold window. The Hunts believed in hard money, and since the Hunts were billionaires, and at the time owning gold was illegal for Americans, the Hunts turned their attention to the common man's metal, silver, which didn't sit well with the central bankers who owned the printing press. The Hunts were targeted and made to pay for their folly, and eventually lost most of their fortune. Flash forward today, fiat paper still rules, and the Fed's QE2 promises to destroy what remains of confidence in our dollar. And like the Hunt brothers, people around the world are waking up to the dangers of a fiat system. Like the Hunt brothers, we are advocates of hard money, constitutional money, but unlike the Hunts, we will not be defeated, and we will not stand down.
We are united.
We stand together.
I own physical silver.
I own physical silver.
Physical silver.
I own physical silver. I own physical silver.
I own physical silver.
I own physical.
We have identified the criminal banker's Achilles heel, and it's physical silver.
We stand together.
We stand together.
We all stand together.
Against the criminal banks.
So every time you knock the price down, we're gonna buy more.
We stand together.
As the world awakens to the criminality of this fiat debt-based system, we stand at the ready, helping to educate our brothers as they emerge from their long hypnomatic slumber. And though the criminal banks continue to win occasional battles, they are losing the war.
30 ounces of silver.
1,000 ounces of silver, and the big banks aren't even going to get half an ounce of it.
215 ounces of physical silver.
35 ounces.
300 ounces of silver.
5 ounces.
500 ounces of physical silver.
These same banks, who once had the power to bring down the Hunt brothers, cannot bring down thousands and thousands of us standing shoulder to shoulder, backed by knowledge, backed by physical.
There's billions of people out there, just like me.
Against the criminal bankers. We stand united against the criminal banks.
Against the elitists.
We will not give in. We will fight.
Your corruption has been revealed, and your criminality can no longer hide in the shadows. The weak, immoral men behind the curtain now have a very, very big problem. Humanity hungers for liberty. This is our time, and we are backed by physical silver.
We are
The modern day Hunt Brothers.
The modern day Hunt Brothers.
The modern day Hunt Brothers.
We are the modern day Hunt Brothers.
Buy physical silver and bring down the criminal banks.
Take that, Mr. JP Morgan.
We stand together.
We stand united.
We will not give in.
Got physical?
You're watching Why Silver? Why Now? Never in the history of mankind has one nation engaged in such a rapid descent. In 1980, the United States was the world's largest creditor nation. Today, it's the largest debtor not only in the world, but in the history of the world. We have witnessed massive corruption across all areas of society, from the Enron scandal to Bernie Madoff to trillions missing from the Pentagon, as Donald Rumsfeld publicly admitted on September 10, 2001. The aim of this microdoc is to help everyone not only recognize how dire the situation has become for America, but also to help you understand that there is something you can do today in order to provide some measure of protection for you and your family. So here are the facts. The corruption in our financial markets has been so widespread for so long that it has actually created opportunity for the properly informed. Because the Federal Reserve owns the printing presses which pump out our paper dollars, the controlling class has for years suppressed the free market prices of gold and silver in order to keep their paper dollars unrivaled. Yet, like a canary in a coal mine, the rising prices of gold and silver are signaling that something is wrong. So the bankers have flooded the market with paper representations of gold and silver in a coordinated scheme to keep those prices down, thus keeping that canary alive.
And people will say, well, and you've heard it today, there's not that much physical metal out there. There isn't. But in the physical market, as the market uses that term, there is much more metal than that. There's 100 times what there is.
But it's no longer working. The bankers are losing the battle.
Precious metals are financial assets, and like currencies and T-bills and T-bonds, they trade in the multiples of 100 times the underlying physical.
Investors and hedge fund vigilantes around the world now know about the bankers' scheme, and the result is nothing short of revolutionary. People from all walks of life around the world are now buying physical gold and silver and rejecting the paper metal.
I own physical silver.
Physical silver.
I own physical silver.
Physical silver.
I own physical silver.
I own physical.
Add to that even a few nation states actively acquiring physical metal, and it all adds up to yet another paper Ponzi scheme collapsing. This one built of paper metal. What is happening right now is causing this decades-long scheme to unravel, and when it's fully exposed, it will prove to be the biggest financial fraud in world history. So, if you purchased silver a year or two ago and you've doubled your money, do you sell now? If you're new to this and don't own any, do you buy? Well, here are the facts. You decide. The industrial demand for silver has been growing year in and year out, draining some 800 million ounces of physical silver from world markets every year, with a worldwide mining production only providing approximately 550 million ounces per year. You can see the problem. The United States government owned 2 billion ounces of silver in 1990. Today, it has 0. There is not enough physical silver to meet industrial demand or investor demand. In fact, to rechannel investor interest in silver away from physical and into yet more paper, JP Morgan, the very bank being investigated by the Department of Justice for fraud, created the SLV ETF, a paper tiger, which according to the esteemed Harvey Organ and other researchers like this one who have read the SLV prospectus, the SLV listed on the NYSE has no physical silver behind it, and when the paper Ponzi finally collapses, those holding paper representations of silver through the SLV will find they are listed as unsecured creditors. So what does it all mean? Well, here's the deal. Orwell said, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. We are now living in a time of massive deceit. Americans are quickly losing confidence in their financial markets, in their media, and in their government. And the creditor nations to whom we owe trillions are starting to lose confidence in our dollar. So why physical silver? The reasons are obvious. The next steps are yours.